Hello, I'm Connie Rotella, and welcome to our Triple Threat podcast. I'm super excited to begin this journey with all of you. Are you ready to put your best foot forward and show up with confidence? This tool is here to help you evolve into the artist you are meant to be. Just always remember to believe, become, and be ready. Add a new skill set or refine what you already know. So here we go. And I'm here with the wonderful Jean-Jacques Pillet. He is a wonderful creator. He started off being a dancer, choreographer, stage director. He toured and worked with so many different companies. Today is all about giving a boost of creativity, passion, and everything that comes around it. There's one thing I woke up this morning when I was thinking of our session today. I'm like, there should be a creativity for every decade because you grow as a creator, right? You're not the same as the first day you started in the creation mode. So I was interested to see, in my case, I was analyzing where am I at in my creative, steps, because I know what's coming up and I speak to you a lot about creativity. You actually had a good sentence. You got something that you want to share with us to start off this whole creativity phase.
Correct.
Talking.
Yeah, exactly, Connie. I was thinking of a quote. I was okay. Which quote can I share with you guys to start with this? And one came to mind, and it is a Ralph Waldo Emerson quote. Mm-hmm. And he says, "Do not go where the path may lead, right? Go instead where there is no path, and leave a trail." And I think this is a very powerful quote, for all of us working in the creation world, and probably even, especially today, where things are, on some level, people are talking about stagnation. Some others are talking more of incubator to come better, to better come out of it. I think there is different vision on all what's happening today, but I feel like when there is no path in front of you, it's probably the best thing that can happen to you. It will probably make you, how do you say, stress a little bit or freak, if I can say. But what is interesting in all this is to make that jump, right? And then you will fly for sure. It's taking a chance on ourselves. And having no path, it's the best way to draw one. So I think, that quote for me really was inspiring all along, and I mention it all the time. I think it's good. And I have one for the closure later. So
can you repeat again that one, please?
Yes, absolutely. So it's a quote by Emerson, and he was saying, "Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path, and leave a trail."
You know what? I'm very connected where you go ahead where there's no path at all. That's like always being faced with the unknown, right? Not knowing.
Correct. And that's, and creation is not knowing, You open yourself to something that you don't know what will come up. And then you develop it. We'll get a little bit deeper into that later. But I think what I like also about the quote, it's don't go where there is a path, go instead where there is no path and create a trail. A trail is something very small. Mm-hmm. In the trail, you will, when you walk, you will definitely get in contact with nature, with trees and branches that probably will come across your own path where you're walking on. So a trail is something very small. Mm-hmm. We should not think a big path because that doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. We usually take a trail where only our body can fit. And more we expand, getting used to walk on that trail, our horizons start to open a little bit more because we get used to it, to those first steps. We ground ourselves into it. And then from that point on, further we go, well, more each one of our steps are grounded, and their verticality is feeling. We are starting to feel it. We are starting to be at ease into this trail, and then we can start building until it become a path. So I always thought philosophically this quote is really a great one for a human, I won't say transformation, but still becoming, developing ourselves, and in order to become that trail, it's nobody else's trail, it's ours that will become
unique.
a path.
It's unique. So, it's special to us. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, I would even add like having our own signature. It's our own signature to our.
Well, the traces you will leave for sure is yours. The one in front of you, there is none yet. That's the beauty of it.
It's so good. It's so good, guys. Okay, I get excited.
Yeah, I think it's a great quote which we can really build on. Identify ourselves to it, because creating, it's stepping into the unknown, or you're not creating, you are repeating something. So being blind in front of our this creative energy is definitely the best way to go, I think. And we have to trust. We have to trust that what will come up, what the ideas that will come will be the right one. But in a sense, is there a wrong idea? I don't believe there is any wrongness in creativity. Everything is useful, everything can transform, and every step brings us further into the essence of our creativity. Therefore, we can just stay open with, the concept of good and bad. Me, Connie, I don't believe in this.
Oh, no, but none of us do, yeah.
Yeah, it makes no sense. So it's
right or wrong. There's nothing right or wrong or good or bad. It's whatever you make of it and how you're going to transform with the lesson you learn through that path trail that you're going to.
Absolutely. It's like, speaking about darkness or light, if you can identify darkness, therefore you are seeing the light within it, and your own one shines on those elements that being seen or being commented as being darker. Mm-hmm. So, all of it is all essential to the balance of who we are, and how we can be as complete as possible. Both sides needs to exist, and they exist, and we should never toss them around, because we can only be as complete as having that duality alive, but being aware of it, so we can use it the right way. And creativity is not about thinking, not to me. It's about something much deeper, much more anchored in us. And again, to use that word, expanding ourselves, extending ourselves, being spacious, open, will make room for anything to come up. And so that's what I call the awakening of creativity. There is a process to it. That is not the process of creating. This is the process of receiving. And when we put ourselves in that room, if I can say that is us, but when we allow this room to expand, then, we have to be ready for anything. We have to be ready for anything, and nothing should be judged. Nothing. That's the last thing that should happen. It's to judge your intuition. Therefore, this creative energy that you're receiving in that space of spaciousness, this is the most precious. If there is one thing I believe we should teach youth, it's not to judge themselves before they even know themselves. And until we know ourselves, then we can make, and I won't call it judgment, but we can position ourselves then and maybe questions things that we do or things like that, But creatively, we should not bring judgment on anything. Creativity is something legitimate to each one of us, different and similar. And what will make a big difference is what we'll do with it. How we'll be able to materialize this energy, information, whatever, what comes up. How are we going to materialize this energy with the deep sensation that we had receiving it, feeling it, what we do with this, so it's not, sometimes we think creativity is a big thing. Actually, I think the opposite. I think it's actually a very small thing that we permit it to grow, but we have to give that permission. If we judge, we don't give a permission. We stop something here.
So it's like a seed that you're planting and you watch it grow.
It's like, but the seed is already there.
Yeah.
Right. So you should just not intervene.
Oh.
Anyway, but yeah, it's.
I love it.
We should, yeah.
We have to be reminded, because I noticed that, and we've had many talks, so, I'm in and out, but it's a constant everyday, not battle. I would not say it's battle. It's fun. But when you're stuck, and to be unstuck.
Correct. Well, when you say battle, sadly enough, I would say there is a battle because of judgment, because of concept of excellency, because of concept of success. We block things out because we think we think the path we have been walking on is the right one. But what if it was the wrong one? What if by identifying creativity to concepts, why do we believe this is the right thing to do? Actually, I think it's the opposite we should do. I think identifying creativity to concept of success is definitely the wrong way to go. I mean, this is a right way to go in circle. This is a right way to walk in circle, and trying to figure out to get out of that circle will take us years. So why, from a young age, why bothering ourselves with any type of concept of success? What is a good, an amazing creativity? There is no such thing. And I think we have to, I think we have to start opening up to what is deeply anchored inside us and just let it live for what it is. At least if we can just experience that, we will realize that the expansion of our creativity goes on such a level that we will be completely overwhelmed by what we will be receiving, to the point probably we won't even have the answers to see or to understand how can we materialize such a huge thing. It's very overwhelming. And so, yeah, I think for me, that's really the awakening of creativity, because process, it's so secondary. We all have a different process that works for us because we feel certain things and some other things we don't. So, we have to, this is all legitimate. The process is legitimate to each one of us. Nobody can really say much about that, really. But I think the awakening of that creativity, we have to let it be what it is, because it's perfect the way it is.
I think that was a message that I needed to hear today. At times that I'm a ball of creativity that sometimes I have to just focus, sometimes it's like, where do I go? Which way do I go first? Like, you're constantly running for this creativity and this passion and this fire and this energy that is nonstop, that can burn you out.
For sure. If you let yourself go with that flow constantly, for sure, it will burn you out, because, we are passionate beings. We are, I don't know if there is only artists here, but, we all have creativity. We can all create something. That's not a question. Creativity is definitely not reserved to the artistic world, not at all. So we can all create, but it is true that being in that business that needs such a tremendous amount of passion to advance. There is competition. There is so many things that get in front of us for us to understand, and therefore to use what is presented to us as tools, not as a break of any kind.
I know that when I want an outcome to be the way I, if I create something, I want it to be outcome, and then it doesn't happen. There's two choices. Or you work towards making it manifest and bringing the energy that is supposed to connect together, or controlling it by,
So one more time, I'm going back to the roots there. It's funny because this is a very fashionable word, right? Manifesting, as you're saying, we hear it so many times, and it's not wrong, it's true. But we have to manifest something. I think if we are that manifestation, we don't need to manifest anything. If we are in the truth of who we are, we don't have to manifest anything. We are that. We become that manifestation. Therefore, things will happen. Okay, easy said than done. I agree. But I think when we're young, that's where we have to authorize, this way of being, because our creativity is there.
Mm-hmm.
It's there. We just have to let it rise and authorize it. Then it will manifest what it needs to manifest. If we keep it as truthful as we feel it when it comes, then it will manifest things, I'm not saying it's magical and all this. Of course not. We will need action. You don't just say, okay, manifest something for me. I'm sitting in my living room with, a glass of wine and everything will be fine. Definitely not. We all know it takes a bit of work. As soon as something, we know we are onto something, we feel it. So then past that point, of course, we have to take action. It's not just going to happen like that, and nothing will just manifest it itself or materialize itself just like that, because we are sitting down and we had a great idea, or we have listened to what came up creatively. So of course it will take some work, and of course there is a certain alphabet that we have to follow, because there is a full system around us,
Mm-hmm.
But until we get there, I think we have to free ourselves without judgment regarding our creativity and what it could become. I think it's so important. I think we are sometimes going too fast. We think we have an idea and then suddenly, okay, we go with it. But we should wait. Let's wait a little bit. Let's see what will come up next. When you extract that, you never know what's behind it. There might be something even greater. Mm-hmm. So we have to take time to fully understand what is being presented to us, and what is it that we have to do with it.
So let it show us. That's another thing I hear all the time.
Absolutely. I will be at 100% agree with this. Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. We are receivers. We are the makers in the second phase of it, but in the first phase, we are the receiver. And it's very interesting, a few years ago, you could not, maybe 10, 15 years ago, you could not really speak about this, that clearly, except probably, when you were in, meeting with philosophers or certain scientists, it was reserved to a very specific kind of people. But even in our artistic world, we don't speak much of that, and I think it's very important. I think today in the world we live in, with all the changes we see everywhere, all this energy that is arising from everywhere, I think it is important that we authorize within ourselves that intuition to, on some level, materialize, because there is a great power of transformation, great power to influence better things. And we have to take a chance on this part of our creativity. Very important, I think.
It's because you can't explain, you're far ahead where you put a lot of great words together, which totally makes sense and we can understand and feel it. But when we feel it, how many times you feel it, and it's like, how do you even explain this feeling that is happening of creativity? And someone's asking, how did you do that? I'm like, I feel it, because you can sometimes put the right words together to make someone understand what's happening internally and how this magic maybe appears in front of you, or how this path is coming to you, or how this new way is showing up in front of you, where you're kind of listening and just walking.
If we were at least to stay in the present moment when we receive something for a few seconds, then we won't just feel it, but we will maybe go to the next level, which is understanding it. Mm-hmm. Feeling it is one element that is primarily the essential one to identify something is showing up. And then I would say to take a more spacious moment. Mm-hmm. Again, spaciousness, it's always there.
It's always there.
And to start to understand what it means. What is this? Mm-hmm. So and then probably our analytic brain will start to jump in. But if you jump in too soon, that's where we risk deterioration of this great creative energy that we have received that moment. So, yeah, I think that's why I'm often saying there is no need to go too fast, too quick in making conclusion about what we feel. Yeah, because it's too complex, it's too essential. So we have to treat it with care. This is not something free. No, it's not. It's not. It's not because you are an artist that suddenly everything will happen magically. No, you have to predispose yourself to receive. Yes, we are all creators, and we have to accept it. Mm-hmm. Some people don't want to accept it because they think it's a la la la, not a la la land-ish thing, but no, being a creator actually and assuming it's something extremely grounded because you are not in your head, you are in your heart.
Yes, you live from the heart.
Yes. And for me, I was saying the awakening of creativity, it's like that thread of water that carries a loud voice. We have to take care of it. We have to cherish it. We have to preserve it and not take it for granted. I think that's very important, But creativity can never stop. Nobody can kill creativity. It's like, when the bed of a river is dry, right? Mm-hmm. There is no sound anymore. Mm-hmm. There is no movement. It's only the dirt and it's really dry. But when, as soon as a rainfall comes in, that bed sings again, right? Well, that's who we are. Yeah. Nobody can kill this. It will always be there.
Well, we're ending with a positive note, everyone. So go enjoy your creativity. Go enjoy the process. Go enjoy every single level that it's going to bring you to. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be quite an adventure.
It doesn't have to be that complicated, though.
No, you have to let it go and let it come to you. Be the one that's receiving it. Receive your creativity. It's beautiful. You said so many magical words that enlightened me. Love it. Sit down and just breathe while everything else is working for you, around you.
A lot of that, definitely, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.